All right. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? And welcome to the Xbox Roundtable. TXR is back with a vengeance, people, rebooted for your favorite gaming discussions. This is your host, Invader, here. And as you can tell, there's a few changes to the panel, some new additions to it, as well as some familiar faces. But hey, we all have a combined passion for gaming. Obviously, this show has a legacy that included some very special individuals in the community, the likes of Randall Thor, Patrick Maka, Mr. Worrywart, and Mike Inferno. And hey, we will always remember their contributions to the show. But hey, without further delay, let me introduce the entire panel. We're still missing a couple of members right now, but hey, the show must go on. First off, starting with the show creator, the ever stalwart Southbound. How are you doing, bud?
Doing all right, my friend. How about yourself? How's everybody doing out there? This is it's a homecoming. I'm very excited to be back with my boys, back at the show. Kind of missed a few people, but you know what? Hey, much love and blessings to them. So, it's a new generation, a new iteration, and I'm just looking forward to the future. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, my friend. And hey, we have a wonderful show packed with some really interesting topics. And next up on deck, we have the ever so positive Mr. Jeremy Downer. How are you doing?
What's up, man? How we doing?
We're doing too good. We're doing too good, my friend. I'm pumped for this show.
You said back with a vengeance, but we're missing two people, so I don't know.
Well, that are
hey,
here.
Well, you know what? I've been bugging the shit out of Tim, and I'm like, "Where are you at?" Oh man, I don't know where he's at. He's in Woodstock or something like that. And he's like, I got a shit connection. I'm like, damn, bro.
Tim's in the hot tub, man.
He's in the hot tub. Hey, right now he's got studs and bubbles, and he's just texting like, "Oh, I can't get connected." And he's telling his wife, "Don't worry, baby. I'm not leaving. Don't worry. I'm just gonna tell you guys some bullshit." And
actually, I just received a text from him. He's gonna be on next week, so he'll join us next week.
Okay.
All right.
First day back. What a dirtbag. Thanks, Timmy. Hope you're enjoying that fucking jacuzzi.
Oh, we're gonna talk bad about you, Tim.
Well, yeah. Well, he's probably enjoying the snow as much as I have recently. He's probably all snowed in. Yeah. This weather, I tell you,
Negative
guys.
30 wind chill where you at, brother. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where the hell you at? Nova Scotia?
No, well, I'm from Ontario, so like southern Ontario, and like my region got hit pretty bad in particular. So literally, like there's like a pile of snow, like just snow everywhere. Like it looks like the bloody Arctic right now. It's not fun.
Wow. Yeah, here in Southern California, the last week, we've had so much rain, and there's wrecks and everything. People in Southern California do not know how to drive in the rain. You know what I mean? They just freak out and they drive like 2 miles an hour.
Dude, they don't know what to do, period, in the rain. My next door neighbor was watering his lawn the day after, the rainstorm came. 4 days of rain. He was outside watering his goddamn lawn.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds about right. It's like you just saved on your water bill, dummy. What are you doing?
Too funny. And of course, I'm not going to forget our other panel member, another new face of the panel, Mr. Megatron. How you doing?
How you doing? What's going on, people? I'm excited to be on the panel. Followed the show for quite a while. Been a fan of TXR, and to be on the panel now, it's an honor. So, kind of looking forward to getting my toe in the water with the YouTube thing.
We're glad to have you, bud. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Fan Bam.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, fine addition. And yeah, other panel member, DocCupCake, unfortunately cannot make it this evening, but
Doc's too busy jet setting and going to PAX and CES and everything else. He's our resident traveler to all these shows and game shows and everything else. So he'll be hit and miss.
Yeah, feel better, buddy. We hope you feel better.
Yeah, it looked like he was having a lot of fun too. I think, where was he? San Antonio, I think.
He probably got some con flu.
Yeah.
No, it's a legit thing. You ever see how many people go like to E3 or something, and next thing you know, they're sick as a dog because there's
Oh
so
yeah,
many
because all the
germs.
germs. Yeah,
Yeah, you shake so many hands, you
Absolutely.
walk so many doors and everything else. It's ridiculous. I don't know how many times I see like veterans that go to these shows have like antibacterial soap or the drops or whatever. They're constantly just putting it on their hands, and I'm like, well, let me get some of that. Nobody wants to catch that herpes from these dirty ass people.
Wow. You had to go. You had to go there, buddy.
Hey, I'm just saying, cleanliness goes close to godliness, so it is what it is.
All right, herpes.
Well, I always worry about the bloody smells. You got to have the antiperspirants on.
Oh my god, that is rough. I've had a few times. I look at somebody like, did you just smell that? And they got that look on their face, like like that and lemon. They taste lemon. They're like, ooh, shit.
This is LA, bro. Step your game up, right?
Yeah.
Right. Hey, baby powder is a must. If you don't know anything, I mean, powder that ass.
Yeah, you gotta watch out when a whiff of blue cheese comes coming down the escalator.
That's nasty.
Hey,
There goes
it's
my
true. I've been
appetite.
there. I've been there at the cons, the expos. It's scary. It's scary, but it's all about survival, right? Survival of the fittest at the cons. All right. Well, without further ado, fellas, let's move on to some of the topics. And first, we're gonna start off with a bit of an extension of the introduction. So let's give everybody a bit of a backstory of all the panel members, our gaming histories, and our online contributions to the community. Who wants to start off?
I'll go ahead and go first. I'll do it. I'm not really good at talking about myself, so I'll just be short and sweet. We started TXR a few years ago. I think it was 2015.
Yeah, I think you're right.
2015, and it was just because there wasn't as many podcasts then as there was now, so it was just kind of like like you had the BGSTs and you had Xbox Uncut and stuff like that, but I don't know, we just kind of wanted something different, and so we just we decided to, hey, we'll just have a different look and outlook on the Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo scene, and not just all the hate and everything, and then of course everybody knows we stopped making the show, and ever since then, still in the community on Twitter and everything else, but it wasn't the same, and a lot of I've guessed it on a few podcasts since, and the Crossfires and Iron Lord podcast and stuff like that, and I just it's just not the same. You gotta come home every now and then, and I missed it. So when the idea started floating around, everybody was kind of digging the idea again. I was on board completely. So I just, that one thing, TXR was always near and dear to me. So I think that's my biggest contribution to the community, is this show and the friendships that we have because of this show, and the relationships that we made across the gaming sphere. It's just a beautiful thing, and I've gotten a lot of love and a lot of respect from a lot of people out there. And I hate the word fans, because I don't have fans. I got friends. You know what I mean? And I'm not like some big-headed person where I just think, oh, I'm somebody, so bow down to me. Yeah, you want my autograph? That, to me, if someone asked me for an autograph, I would like, oh hell no, are you kidding, bro? Like, really? I ain't nobody, dude. Come on. So like, hey, anybody ever sees me, they know, they come talk to me. What's up? I love taking pictures and all that shit. So it's all good. It's all love with me. But yeah, that's
true
right.
Man
I'm
of the people.
Hey, Snapchatter. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he is.
But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all, in a nutshell. Just me, Mr. TXR. What it do, and just all around normal guy.
It's funny, South, when I look back at TXR, I remember specifically when Rand, Maka, Worry War, Inferno came on, and obviously, the crew we have now. I was thinking to myself, wow, these guys really have it, these meaning talent. And I was proud, of the TXR accomplishments. They had a great run. You guys had a great run. They had some great interviews, guests, smart and insightful content, But TXR, You know, I think there was a point where TXR was mentioned on gaming publications, and you know, we received some credit there. And it was something to be proud of, definitely. So it was great.
Show was hot, man. The show was hot. Let me tell you, I was a fan. Right, I'll come up and I'll say I was a fan, and it was like you said, it was through a gaming publication that I want to say it was IGN. I don't know. I hooked up with you guys. I played with you guys first online. I guess we were playing Rocket League or something. I met you guys initially then.
Yeah,
I remember.
League, yeah,
and we were all playing, me, you, Phil, everybody, the whole gang, and then I met you guys at E3. And it's just been kind of like we've been chilling out ever since. That was, I don't know, 3-4 years ago.
Rocket League, that brings up bad memories, man. I remember we got our ass kicked by 4 guys with quarters.
Yeah, you know what?
I was not happy about. I was not happy about.
We don't acknowledge that, all right?
Yeah. That's funny because I remember watching it. So
hey, you know what? Those bastards are cheaters because they were playing on the PS4 and everything. They were already like playing it for a year, and we had like 2 days into it, and they were like doing like crazy flips and you know, hitting the ball in the net, like, you know, it was ridiculous. They were like professional soccer players. You're like, what the hell? It was like, you know, we're some like 12-year-old fat kids, and they're like Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo and shit. It's like, what? Come on now.
Those were back in the day Xbox problems, but now Rocket League is on, you know, every platform now. So it's crossplay now, isn't it?
It's crossplay, yeah. The first game to have crossplay across everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in 4K now.
Ooh, very, very interesting. Yeah, no, Rocket League's fun. Megatron, what would you say would be your contributions to the community, and what's your history with gaming?
You know what? Contributions, I don't know, man. Myself, though, in particular, I like gaming. I've been gaming ever since I was probably 4 years old. I remember my dad taking me to the arcades. My aunt got me my first gaming console, which was a Magnavox Odyssey. So that's going way, way back. A lot of people don't even know what that is.
Damn, you old.
And was that Assassin's Creed Odyssey? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was back in the day, man. It was quite some time, and I just fell in love with gaming and been playing ever since. Just like now being a dad and just you know a house, cat, dog, mortgage. You know, you have to find you try to struggle to find that time to play as much as you used to play. But,
I'm with you, bud. I'm with you.
But I never stop loving the game, man. I enjoy listening. I like people's enthusiasm. I like just watching it, talking about it. I love everything about gaming. I said, and meeting you guys, you know, way back at E3 for the first time, that was awesome. And I don't know, it's just been good. I just love it, man.
Oh, me too, man. People don't realize what a extreme hardcore gamer I am.
Everybody knows you're extreme, but I don't know about gaming.
Dude, I started playing arcade games when I was 3 years old. I had a few actually.
You didn't even know how to walk at 3 years old. What are you talking about?
Dude, my father had one of those tabletop the Pong machines, the old school ones, the original ones. Thing's probably worth a bunch of money now, and it's gone. I don't know what happened to it, but he used to have that, and his buddies used to come over after the softball games, and they used to challenge me. At 3 years old, he told me that I used to beat him. I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, he's lying to you. He was gassing you up.
Maybe he was trying to gas me up.
I'm making my kid. You know, he was gonna pretend to be like he's all right,
but that's what he said. That's what he said.
He's gassing you up. Don't let him tell you. Yeah, you got to go say, "Hey, Dad, you fucking lied to me all these years."
But the physical arcade machines, I've had Miss Pac-Man. I still have Miss Pac-Man. I used to have the old Tron machine. I don't know if you guys know the fluorescent light Tron machine that has
it.
Oh my god,
I remember that.
My mother sold that motherfucker at a yard sale for $150.
Oh,
you know how much that bad boy's worth now? Probably like $5,000. So I had that one. I also had the Donkey Kong Jr. Tabletop. So
one of my favorites awesome. There. Spy Hunter was one of my favorite arcade games.
Oh yeah.
Believe it.
So but from there, my first gaming system was a Nintendo. I got that when I was 4 years old when it came out. But I was a huge Sega fan. I bought everything. I bought all the systems. Huge Sega. So it's a funny story how I became an Xbox fan. At the time when Sega died, you guys remember when Sega died?
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hated, with a passion, I hated Sony because for me, they killed Sega. So that's why I hate, that's why I hated Sony. So, when Sega made the move to, you guys remember all the games that came out?
You mean the Dreamcast?
No. The games that came out on Xbox, all the Sega game when they transitioned.
Okay.
Games like Gun
Fantasy
Valkyrie.
Star Online.
Yeah, oh yeah, Fantasy
Panzer
Star
Dragoon.
Online, Panzer Dragoon, and then Smilebit made Jet Set Radio Future, and then Gun Valkyrie, and then you said Panzer Dragoon. From Software made Otogi, and then they had everything. All my Sega games they had, so that's when I transitioned to Xbox, and I never looked back. And then the little game Halo came out, and Halo made an impact on everybody. I don't care who you were.
Let me guess, Jeremy, that was your killer app.
Yeah, it was a killer app, but I specifically bought 4 systems. I did the LAN party every weekend at my house, and back then, you guys know those TVs were heavy as fuck.
Oh yeah,
the big TVs to carry them downstairs. And I used to live in a 2-story.
I just had to move like 3 of them from this recent move. Hey, the big 32-inch, like 2-ton fucking TVs. Oh my god, my back is still killing me, bro.
Those CTRs, yeah.
So those LAN parties, they were crazy. My neighbors used to think I was crazy, just yelling and screaming. People were fighting out front. Oh, it was insane. And we used to have LAN parties on almost all the major Xbox titles, Crimson Skies.
The neighbors thought you guys were a bunch of thugs and realized you guys were playing video games. And they're like, oh, you guys ain't thugs. They're fucking dorks.
Yeah, oh yeah. So it was fun. So that's how I became an Xbox fan.
All right.
Hey, Downer is a pirate legend. I thought you guys knew in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, more of a Downer legend.
He's a pirate puto.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it's as far as my history and online personality, obviously I'm Invader Gaming, and I have a channel. I started in 2015, just kind of exploring, and I want. Sorry, my Siri just kind of listened to me. One sec.
She's like, "Hey, stupid! You're trying, you're in a podcast, but I'm reminding you about something else."
Yeah, Siri just kind of started listening to me. It never listens to me, and then now my stupid phone listens to me. Go figure, right?
You must be drinking.
Definitely, but
that sounds like my wife, Invader.
Too good. But yeah, I have my own channel. I just, I do topics on the industry, and I do some gameplay here and there. And I've appeared on community podcasts too. That's how people have gotten to know me. I get most recently, of course, being a part of the Game Dosage podcast with Noof Nukem, Jago, and all them. Noof Nukem, favorite Canadian fella. You don't know him? Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom?
We know him.
Yeah.
Everyone knows him.
I know Noof real well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Wonderful fella, and a wonderful crew there, wonderful group of people, great cast. And now I made it here, and I'm excited to be a part of this show. It's awesome. Great crew here. I've known you guys since basically you started this show, and obviously I remembered the infamous Rocket League that nobody wants to mention on the show.
Yeah, just we gotta just mute that. Can we start this over? No, I'm kidding.
But as far,
hey, wait. 4 Guys with Quarters still has that motherfucker posted.
Do they?
Yes, on their channel.
Them dirtbags.
Oh my god,
clowns. I'm not gonna say I want to rematch because I don't even have that game anymore. But
I don't know. You may want to do a copyright strike or something. I don't know. Just
hey, that's right. Yeah,
that's brutal.
There we go.
Oh, you want my royalties, damn it.
But my earliest memory probably would have been playing at my buddy's place, my best friend's place way back when, on his ColecoVision, as far as my gaming memories. Anybody remember that system?
I remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
I never had one, but I remember
Absolutely.
Yeah, games like you know what, it was so far long ago, but I remember
Bump and Jump. Bump and jump.
Yeah, like that, and even Donkey Kong, I think, was on there. Donkey Kong and a couple of others. But you know what? It wasn't even the Coleco. Like, moving on from that, though, I was really huge into Nintendo. I was a Nintendo fanboy. I admit it. Like, for the longest time, with the NES, SNES, and N64. That's just where I wanted to be. I was like dominated by Nintendo. Like, all my free time went to there, and I grew up on games like Super Metroid and Star Fox and all that, Mega Man, Turtles in Time. Like, I just have so many memories from that time. It was such a good period. And then you go on to the N64 with Banjo, GoldenEye, and all that. Oh, I just loved it. But then I'll admit, I kind of took a break from gaming. And that's where Xbox came in, because I wasn't really excited into gaming. And then, you know what got me? Halo 2. I saw the advertisements for Halo 2. No, dead serious. I know this sounds like a lot of other people's, but like I was like, wow. It was like a huge event. A huge event. Yeah. It was everywhere. People took the day off for it. I was like, what the heck is going on here? People were skipping class to pick up this game. Like, what's going on? So I had to, of course, you know.
They broke records that day. I think it was like 186 million or something like that across the board. So it was great.
But yeah, that's where I just kind of reignited my passion for gaming. It was and my passion for the for Xbox games was with Halo 2, and just around that time period. And then, of course, I got to know games like Crimson Skies, Mech-Assault. Those games I really enjoyed on the OG Xbox. And then, yeah, I just kind of spiraled at the Xbox 360, Xbox One. I really like a lot of their games in their back catalog. I think they have all kinds of exciting games, and yeah, that's where we are today, right here, right now.
Yeah,
right on,
guys. So let's kick it off to our first topic of tonight, and I think that's gonna be, well, it's a pretty hot button topic. Bungie Activision. Obviously, a massive bomb was dropped with a joint statement from Bungie and Activision that stated going forward, Bungie will own and develop Destiny, while Activision will increase its focus on their own owned property. Now, to me, it's very interesting and telling, as you know, there's always been the rumors of trouble in their relationship with Activision doing questionable things with the content. So, panel, what I'm going to
go ahead, finish.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on the matter? Go right ahead, guys.
Well, yeah, I think you hit it perfectly. There's been talk about it for a while that, you know, like Activision had the strict timeline where they wanted, you know, Destiny 1, 2, 3, boom, every year or whatever, every other year, and all the DLCs. And like they had this crazy little strict, you know, roadmap for it.
Well, Sal, if you remember, the contract was for 10 years,
right?
And they were going to. I think they were to produce 4 games, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember the contract correctly. I'm not sure if that DLC was included in that. I have no idea.
It had to have been shoehorned into it, saying, "Hey, well, you know what? That was just like a game, you know, launch." Because I mean, look at the price point. It was the same price as a game,
right?
So yeah, it's weird though, because like you said, it was supposed to be a 10-year contract, and it ended up being 8.
8 years, yeah.
And for them to be this far along into like dissolving their partnership, there must have been some really, really big problems going on for them to get this far, this fast.
Let me chime in for when you're restricted to a 10-year contract, especially with a major publisher like Activision, you know, creativity wise, you're not going to be able to develop the product that you want in that time span because all the restrictions and everything. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Number one, how Bungie, invests and handles the publishing of Destiny going forward. You know, it's really not their area of expertise. But what will most likely occur with that would be, they're going to jump on board with marketing. And it's going to be, you know, whoever comes with the biggest check. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, how long does it usually take to make a game, though? What's the time? It's about
like 3 years average.
I mean, 4 games, DLC, 10 years. That doesn't sound like it's enough time to even be creative, right? I mean, it definitely sounds challenging.
Well, Activision is used to the Call of Duty roadmap where nothing really changes. It's basically the same engine. They just change a little bit here and there, and they could pump it out every year. Even though they have 3 studios working on it, but it is 3-year increments. So I don't know what they expected out of Bungie being one studio and only having one game in mind.
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're finally going to see the handcuffs come off of Bungie and finally give fans of Destiny the game they've always wanted, with no restrictions, whatsoever.
Absolutely. And you saw that even with the first game too, like they take in content that was supposed to be in the single player game, the retail release of the game, and they withheld it as DLC.
Yeah, they butchered it.
Yeah. Exactly. And even just stuff in just within Bungie itself, like there was stuff that I really didn't like with the composer Marty O'Donnell, like he got let loose by the board of directors there.
I remember that.
Yeah, and an amazing guy too.
Yeah,
to be completely screwed. That was horrible.
It just Bungie, like it seemed just very unlike them to do. So I was very upset with how they were handling things with their own personnel and just with the game too. Like what I played the first Destiny and I really couldn't get into it. Like a lot of things felt good. The gameplay felt all right to me. It was just, I don't know about anybody else, but I really couldn't get into the story because there wasn't really that much there.
I barely even remember the story in Destiny. It just more.
Well, you had to read all the Grimoire cards for it.
It felt like a chore, but I wanted to play the game and I just got through it. I beat it and never went back to it until like a year and a half later.
The gameplay mechanics were so tight in that game that and were so well done that I think it caught on with players. And there was a little niche to the game, as far as like collecting stuff, leveling up. I mean, people love that stuff, so they
the grind was fun. Yeah, it really was. It was monotonous, but it was, for some reason, it was fun. But I think more of it was the community had a lot to do with it. The friends playing with each other, and and doing raids and stuff like that. I mean, we've talked about this a million times amongst a million podcasts. The reason why we love Destiny or played Destiny. I just think it's really sad that Bungie was just basically held at gunpoint to do things that they weren't really comfortable with, and like you said, Invader, they had to like let go of certain key employees, and it was messed up.
But I just find it weird though that they would leave Microsoft, which apparently they were restrictive with how they handled Bungie, so Bungie wanted to make their own game and be free, and then they go to one of the most, I want to say, totalitarian companies in the entire industry with Activision. Like they really put the reins on. So I don't know what they were thinking.
From the pan to the fire.
It's funny that you and Invader talk about this, South, but I'm sorry to disappoint Xbox fans, but you're probably not going to see an Xbox Bungie partnership anytime in the near future. No, because number one is Bungie has learned their mistakes of the past. And they're going to learn from this, and they're going to retain their IP. Destiny fans will see a much better product moving forward, obviously. And I think you see this with you've seen that with the Halo franchise. I'm sorry to say, but towards the end of Bungie, Microsoft relationship, Xbox relationship, those games kind of went. They weren't as good as the previous iterations of the game. In my opinion,
I don't know, Downer. I think there's a shot. There's a possibility. You hear Ninja Theory, and they're praising their relationship and what they agreed to, and Obsidian they're coming out and saying, hey, this is what we wanted. We have total control of our own studio. I mean, you don't think Bungie is not hearing that? I mean, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, but it's pie in the sky to even wish or dream that Bungie would go back to Microsoft. It's not going to happen. They've got their taste of freedom. They're not going to jump back into being slaves again. You know what I mean?
Well, so now what can happen and what most likely will happen is the marketing.
Well, yeah, marketing deal. I know quite a few Bungie employees when Destiny was marketing with PlayStation. A lot of them were Xbox players, so it was hard for them to get used to playing on the PlayStation because they had the marketing deal. So I know as employees that had talked to me about it, obviously behind the scenes, they were like, "What the hell? We play on Xbox, and PlayStation getting all this other DLC and content and stuff like that that basically he was saying we aren't getting." It's really, it was hard for them too. So Activision really had them by the neck.
Oh yeah, by the numbers neck. They had to produce X amount of units, X amount of dollars, X amount of everything.
So you guys think that they can stand on their own? Then they're
gonna need a publishing partner. I think.
Bungie are more than capable of standing on their own.
Yeah,
they've been around for so long. They've had, I mean, even when they had Halo, they had one of the most successful brands in the gaming industry. And Destiny's obviously very successful. Depending on your opinion of it, it's still a successful brand, and I think they'll do just fine on their own. Personally, depending on if they want to self-publish their next title.
Yeah, they're gonna self-publish, but for how long? I think that the next Destiny game has to be hit. It has to be hit because to me
their numbers are dwindling.
Yeah, they only have enough money probably for maybe 2 games, I want to say. But if the number one's a hit, then they can create whatever the hell they want. So,
well, we'll see, because everybody was saying that the reason why the games turned out like they did was because of Activision's involvement. Now that Activision's gone out of the picture, Bungie only would have themselves to blame, right?
You hit the nail on the head, because now when something doesn't go right, who's going to get the blame? They can only blame themselves, because now Activision, they had us in a corner and they made us do this, and they had this roadmap and blah 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 blah. They had these strict deadlines, so all the blame right now is on Activision. Oh God, thank God they're done with that. No more Activision, so now Bungie can do whatever they want. But on the other side of the coin, if they mess up, who they got to blame? Themselves. And now can they recover from that? That's the big question.
Well, yeah, that's a pretty open-ended question right there. But we'll see how that turns out, how it pans out, and
we wish them the best. Absolutely. I mean, Bungie's a great company. They create great games, so wish them the best.
Hey, Boogie, you shut up. In the chat, she said they never blamed Activision. We did that for them. Yeah, that's true. What we did, but hey, it is what it is.
Well, either way, it's exciting to see what's in store for Bungie, and we'll see what happens with Activision. They seem like they're kind of in a clean out phase, so we'll see what happens. But moving on. First, I would just like to remind everybody in the chat, hey, to please share this out. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already to the TXR podcast. And definitely, just share this out. Let everybody know that, hey, the podcast is back and we're getting right into it. So on to the next topic. It's more of a speculative one at that. And it's no secret that Microsoft is actively looking to acquire more studios, guys. There's been all kinds of rumors floating around about who they could be in talks with. There was that one industry insider, Clobriel, who has hinted at some knowledge of talks of a studio that's been friendly with Sony this gen, possibly going along with Microsoft. And also, just there's been other rumors of different studios. So, panel, I want to know your thoughts of, are there any studios in particular that you think Microsoft would go after? For example, I've heard of IO Interactive, the makers of Hitman. Yeah. So I'll just put it out there.
Hey, I'm gonna give you 2 versions of this. Okay, one is my dream, and one is reality.
Oh wow!
So
this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's no secret that I would want them to acquire CD Projekt Red.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So like I said, it's a dream, guys. Give me a break. And the other one would be From Software, and there's a couple of reasons why. With CD Projekt Red, when all is said and done, it's going to rival Rockstar. It is. It's not going to get there the same way in terms of revenue, but in terms of content, it will rival Rockstar around the world. I think currently the equity over at CD Projekt Red is like over $1 billion now. I think last year was like 800 million, but They're a big company. It'd take a large check to sign them out.
It would take Marvel money to get CD Projekt Red.
I don't know about that, but
it would take at least $3 billion at least.
I think that's undercutting it. I think it's probably it might be more than that.
Yeah, well, Marvel was like 4, so.
Well, they paid 4 for Minecraft, right?
No, they paid 2.
Oh, 2. They paid 2.3
2.2 or something like that.
Yeah. CD Projekt Red owns GOG, which it distributes games and films. I'm not sure how the whole DRM free thing will go with Xbox, but again, this is my dream, guys.
That's a big dream, my friend.
Yeah, that's a big dream.
I don't see it.
The other one is From Software. The creators of the Soul series, Bloodborne. They've created one Armored Core series, Otogi in the past. They're a great company, and I don't know what's that new game that's coming out. I forgot the new game.
Sekiro.
Sekiro, again, that's going to be killer. And if they do those 2 things, okay, number 1, CD Projekt Red, huge in Europe. Number 2, From Software, huge in Japan. Xbox will be able to get a foothold in these markets if they buy they need this kind of this kind of move, this kind of push.
It's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen, but that's my dream. Looking on the reality side, I think maybe Creative Assembly, the creators of Alien Isolation, the Total War series, and Halo Wars 2, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah.
So I think maybe Creative Assembly. I'm gonna go with that as far as reality goes. They might purchase one major studio. I have no idea who that is. It's not going to be EA. But I mean, what do you guys think? Who are they going to buy out?
Me, my dream, and I think ultimately reality. Maybe, hopefully, I'm going to have to say Bungie. I think that they probably have a great relationship. I mean, Bungie's right there next to Microsoft, the studio and everything. I think why not? I mean. Again, you look what they did with Ninja Theory and Obsidian, and I don't see why it would be a bad thing to have them sign with Microsoft and do their thing and have the free reign to create the way they want to create their games. And I mean, that's it. I mean, it's basically all I got. I think it's a real possibility.
Yeah, I don't know.
And if it does happen, I don't think that Destiny, by the way, would be a exclusive game. It would still remain a multi-plat.
No, look at Obsidian's new game. That's multi-platform. So that's there's no way it'll be exclusive, and it shouldn't be. I honestly don't see any huge acquisitions of games or publishers like that, developers. I think the closest one I could think of that's actually realistic is Remedy.
Okay.
I think Remedy is the safe bet, because they don't have a lot of money. They need a lot of outsourced money. So to me, that's feasible. Of course, Bungie CD Projekt Red would be amazing, but I just don't think that it could ever. Yeah, exactly. It would never happen. So
CD Projekt Red, they would essentially what would happen is they'd be willing to listen, and I don't think they would be. So, I mean, it's probably out of the question, but who knows? In this day and age, who fucking knows?
Italian Clown says he wants Microsoft to buy Capcom.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be epic trolling on the entire industry.
Lockdown Street Fighter forever.
Yeah, and Monster Hunter. Oh, Resident Evil.
Oh my goodness! Could you imagine?
That's only grazing the threshold, buddy. There's a lot more games and property rights to that than just those games. Capcom's an amazing IP company.
Mm-hmm. If I had to put my bet on who Microsoft could be in talks with, you got to look at who they've look at the studios that they recently purchased. What are their names? Obsidian, In Exile, Compulsion. Those are all Kickstarter studios, for their recent games.
Right.
And you could tell that the talent was there. The ideas that in these games are really good, whether they be narrative and so on and so forth, gameplay, but they were lacking money. They really needed those funds to get them through. And I think you got to start looking there.
You know, back in the day, Invader, when In Exile created not Baldur's Gate, but the Bard's Tale, you know, they had the money to do their own thing as far as you know, creating the property, creating the game. But now, because nobody there's not a huge market for those specific games, they have to get funding elsewhere, and Kickstarter is a huge part of that. You know, it's going to be interesting. I hope Xbox invests in those two companies, because those two companies create amazing titles. They're the king of Western RPGs, so to speak. I don't know if you guys ever played those games, but the writing in the game, the storytelling, the RPG mechanics,
and your music that you love so much,
and the music really is top notch. There's nothing like it. I mean, you've probably played the games in the past, like KOTOR. I'm sorry, not KOTOR 2, which was great storytelling, great writing in that game, great game mechanics, gameplay, etc., etc. But it's going to be interesting. Definitely.
Absolutely. I would put my bet, if I had to list off some studios, you have to look at studios that have also been kind of chummy with Microsoft as well. Like look at, for example, Hazelight Studio, who did A Way Out. Before EA came calling, they were supposedly in talks with Microsoft to have that game published by them. Oh, wow. Yeah. So they're really, it was only like a couple of days or a week later that EA came calling, and they worked out a deal. So I would not be surprised if those two had a pretty good relationship still. And hey, I mean, I like the ideas put forth by that studio. They did that Brothers game and A Way Out. So those are two very interesting games and that studio just would be like an interesting purchase, in my opinion. Not only that, as somebody alluded to, I think it was South, Remedy. I need another Alan Wake.
It's a safe bet.
Yeah,
I need another Alan Wake, and they could probably use another European studio that's not based in the UK.
Right. Well, they got a good relationship with Helsinki, so you know.
Oh yeah.
But there's all kinds of wildcard studios out there. Even if there was a dev that was more friendly with Sony this gen, like my wild card, I'll put out there, Hello Games.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, no, think about it. They got a lot of flack a few years ago, and
I remember that.
But yeah, they retooled that game. They worked it out, and through all the flack, they've made that game better. It's a lot better than it used to be now, and they had a partnership with Sony. Things went south, and now they got that little, I forget that game now. It's a little bite-sized game that they announced at the Game Awards. But you know what? That's a studio that, had a little bit of a redemption to them. So, and they worked through it, and I could see them, possibly needing some funding for their next game. And hey,
well, isn't that what it's all about? Funding, and
yeah.
And right now, Xbox needs all the help it can get with the next generation. So I don't know. It's just weird to hear these, or see these guys, that work at Xbox. They got a little swagger to them. They're not worried one bit. They're not sweating like we are. They don't care. They know what's in the pipeline.
Well, they're betting everything on Game Pass and the streaming service.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you? Game Pass is your killer app, brother.
Yeah.
Well,
Game Pass is amazing.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because leading into our next topic, just like the last couple of months, we've been hearing that Microsoft has been interested in doing a diskless Xbox One. And hey, recently there's been some articles coming out revealing a few details of this console. Its codename is Maverick, and it will be nearly supposedly identical to the Xbox One S, though it's kind of foregoing the disk drive and whatever non-essential gaming components there could be. Along with this, there could be the rumored digital disk to digital program, and it's exchanging game discs for digital licenses. So panel, yeah, and it would go ahead. It would also go into the whole streaming thing too. It'd be like a streaming box, a download box. So panel, I'm opening up to the floor. What do you guys think about this rumor console and the potential it has for streaming and just being a download box?
Let me go first.
Okay.
I honestly think that obviously diskless and digital is the future. You know, you see GameStop having all this trouble. You know, they need investments and all that because digital is the future. So the diskless version of the Xbox is smart. You can get it for a budget price, and it just fills a niche for a certain. You know, like I said, like me myself, I don't buy discs anymore. I'm strictly digital.
Now you don't, South, but I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to go against the grain on this.
I want the most.
It's probably not going to happen for another 4 or 5 years. And it's simply because the world market isn't ready for it. I'm telling you right now. Now, US is ready for it, no doubt, because right now I think it's a maybe like a 80-20, 80 digital games people buy, and then 20% people are still buying the physical disc. But in the States, that's the only place that's ready. You know, in Mexico, for example, it's even higher than that. It's probably like 35-40% still use physical. So the world's not ready for it. And if they're going to sell it, they're going to sell it to U.S. markets only, or specific markets.
No, you got the UK, you got Europe.
Yeah, but they're still a little top heavy on the physical discs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I looked them up. I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, but I think it's still high. It's still really high. So if this is going to happen, it's only going to happen for the States, and it's not going to happen for another 5 years. Because I want you to think about it. You have to. Okay, if it's just for Xbox, that's fine. Okay, but if it's for other systems, you're talking about revamping the retail market completely. You know, places like Best Buy and GameStop.
How? The model's already in place. You can go to a Best Buy and you get the little digital cards that has the code on it. It's already in place. It's ready.
In place, but are they? How much of that is really people are actually buying the digital codes? Not many, because number one is you can do it at home. So, like I said, the states are ready for it. It's ready to go. But in my opinion, again, the world's not ready for it. It's not going to happen for another 5 years.
No, that's true though. The states is probably ready for at least the major urban centers. Up here in Canada, I would say we're pretty good in my area. But I don't know, it's a pretty large country, and a lot of the internet speeds across the country aren't that great. I know firsthand.
Well, there's a lot of rural areas, right, where you have to like have satellite internet and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be spotty. It would be spotty like all across.
And I think satellite only gets 30 to 20 to 30 megabytes per second. Something like that.
It's kind of horrible.
Yeah.
You wish you had DLC if you had satellite internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like this console, I can't say it's for me because I like having just the option of having a disc and buying digital every now and then. Like I'm a physical guy. What can I say? And not only that, but I just like having, I can throw in a Blu-ray and stuff like that. To me, the console is, I won't say pointless, but it's not a for me console. But it is interesting, though, that they are testing this out, going this route, especially for streaming, if their hopes are, especially with the xCloud in development as well. They've been propping that up recently.
But Maverick's supposed to be for streaming too, as well as far as gaming is concerned, or is it just you're not having the disc and that's it? You're just everything's you're downloading is all digital.
Well,
Well, don't you think though, if there was a diskless version as for streaming and all that, don't you think it'll be more like based on the Switch where you can be portable with it?
It seems like it, or it seems like it's the beginning of it because I don't know. From the sounds of it, they're using like Xbox One S components. They're going the cheaper route from the sounds of it. It does sound like it will be a dedicated streaming box, from what I can tell. I mean, again, this is just like early leaks, early like documents, early like news feeds, but it'll be interesting how this turns out because obviously Microsoft and EA and Sony, they're all going with the streaming route. So I really hope that they don't leave the physical guys behind. Obviously, we are going to have a dedicated console, but they're really, really wanting to go this route.
Well, if they're trying to lower the price point of the console, right, then, you know, and then you push Game Pass, I mean, sounds like a good deal. I mean, is there any rumors to it all with the price point? Has anything about that at all, or just?
I think it's supposed to be a couple $100 difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the rumor, but you know, who knows?
Yeah, really, they're gonna go for like a different like pronged attack here. You know, they're gonna go with a streaming box here. That's a cheaper option, or you can go with like maybe you know, this middle of the line console, and then you have the high end Anaconda console, which will have like all the bells and whistles attached to it. So obviously, this streaming box is definitely a test for them, and it's going to be, well, it's definitely going to be, they want to get as many people into their ecosystem as possible. So with a lower price point, you know, that'd be pretty tempting, right?
Definitely. Prices can.
Yeah, but why need a system for it? Yeah, you can use your phone, you can use your TV, you can hook up a controller now to your TV. You can hook a controller up now to your phone. So you don't necessarily need the console. So at this point, the diskless console almost becomes irrelevant if you're going to use the streaming service. So I don't know. I'm not. The rumors are just rumors as is. So if they're going to make a cheaper console version, you know, it's not going to happen for 5 years. About
maybe. I mean,
I honestly don't think it's going to take that long, Jeremy. You know, Microsoft is pushing the envelope when it comes to technology, so I'm pretty sure Sony wants to do the same thing.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, will we see it this year? Do you think?
No, absolutely not.
No,
I have no clue, so I don't know. Ask Soldier Boy. Maybe Soldier Boy knows. Maybe he'll push.
Right. Soldier Boy had the biggest comeback in 2018.
Yeah, along with the Soldier Pad, the Soldier Mini,
the Soldier Pods, the iPods, and then the Soldier Watch. Yeah, he's balling.
Yeah, well, Nintendo is having some interesting discussions with him right now.
Damn right they are.
But all right. Well, we'll move on to our next topic that honestly, it just makes you want to scratch your head, and it involves EA. And of course, you know, they're everybody's favorite company, and of course, I say that sarcastically. EA have canceled its open world Star Wars game. That game, it had started development at Visceral Games, but as a lot of people know, that studio got shut down in 2017, and development moved to EA Vancouver. Now, the game would have let you play as a bounty hunter, which, you know what, I thought that was pretty cool right off the bat, and you get to explore different worlds and interacting with different factions. Now they've supposedly went with a smaller scale Star Wars project targeted for, well, a sooner release. They're really pushing for a project to get done soon, possibly 2020, right after Respawn's game Jedi Fallen Order. So, panel, I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on this? Like, to me, EA just doesn't know what the heck they're doing with the Star Wars brand, what with the microtransaction debacle with Battlefront 2, this, and so on. I'm surprised Disney just hasn't gotten out of this deal yet.
That'll be soon. They've totally shit the bed when it comes to the Star Wars games. I mean, how many times did they cancel the game now? Is this a third game now that they've canceled?
That's insane. Has it been that many?
I'm pretty sure the one that Amy Hennigan she was doing that was canceled last year, right?
Remember, was that Star Wars? No, remember Star Wars 1313 as well?
Oh yeah, that was the first one that was canceled. Then the Amy Hennigan one,
and that was all through EA though.
Right. Yeah. EA had an exclusive partnership with Lucas or whatever or Disney, and I mean, what's really come out aside from the Battlefront?
Nothing.
Yeah, and they were supposed to have these open world or single player games. I mean, I think they had a contract for about 3 different styles of games. And
well, that specific one that EA Vancouver committed to, it wasn't even released publicly. I mean, as far as screenshot. I mean, not the screenshots, but the like video and stuff like that. But even the I think the main guy at Visceral started on the project, and then after it got handed over to Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. But
didn't he go back to Activision?
I have no idea, but it specifically said it has become clear that to deliver an experience, I'm quoting from the actual website, it has become clear that to deliver an experience that players would want to come back to enjoy for a long time to come, we need to pivot to design. What that means is the game was a disaster. That's what that means. And I think, they don't know how to handle these types of games. If you look at EA's track record throughout history, I mean, not all the games, okay, but EA's track record throughout history, single player experiences, it's not their forte. It really isn't. So,
do you think a lot of it has to do with their reliance on the Frostbite engine?
I know people in the past have had issues with it. Definitely, that could be something. It could be a related issue. Sure.
Because it's great for a Battlefield game or like a Battlefront game, but is it good for open world game or single player action adventure game?
Yeah,
I tell you guys, like, I'm just so fed up with this because I remember playing LucasArts games back, like going back a couple of generations. They had some really memorable titles. Like, just off the top of my head, do you guys remember Republic Commando?
Oh yeah, that's one of the
one
of the better games.
I loved that game. Just having a squad of the clone troopers. Oh, it was fantastic. I loved it. It was a great narrative.
Set pieces, the narrative set pieces. It felt like you were in Star Wars. It was great. I mean, the mechanics were great. The cover system. I mean, not the cover system, but the squad system was really good. How you can control them, it was easy to control. Use the D-pad, and it was a good experience. It was really good.
Exactly, and it just, again, like, it just boggles my mind how EA can just fumble this. Like, it's Star Wars. Is it really that hard to give gamers and people who love Star Wars just the Star Wars experience? Like, it should be pretty obvious right now what people want. Don't screw around with Battlefront. Just, don't hold a lot of stuff back with microtransactions. Give us an open world to explore. Give us, I don't want to sound too needy, but it's like there should be some obvious things here.
No, you're a fan. I think, what, the hell with it. They should just say why they did it, or why they should just come out and say we can't make these damn games and give it to somebody else, man. It's just like, we can't do it. We haven't figured it out. If it's 3
we
games,
can't crack the code.
Yeah, it's frustrating for a fan. It wasn't on my radar. So, I mean, of course, if it came out, I'm pretty sure I'd have been hyped for it, but it wasn't necessarily on my radar for now.
I think what they went the right route in just cutting the entire project, because number one, if that game came out in the state everyone said it was in, or if it was a mess, a Star Wars game, especially with the fans they have, can break a company and it can drive stocks down. So if you look at what happened with the whole Star Wars Battlefront debacle, I look at the impact the Star Wars brand has on a particular company. So if they screw that up, I mean, it's going to hurt. It would have hurt EA big time. So I think they went the correct route. They canceled it and move on. That's it.
The issue I have is that it's not even just Star Wars that EA has screwed around with. Like, you look at a whole bunch of their major games that they pushed the past couple of years, Mass Effect Andromeda, Battlefield 5. Like, there's been all kinds of controversy just surrounding these games, even the Need for Speeds. Like, they are really pushing like a whole bunch of their core IP just like into remission, and now you're dealing with Disney here with Star Wars. Like, it's not good. What the heck are they doing with all these franchises? Is EA just that incompetent?
Yeah, here we are 7-8 years later, and we only got 2 games to show for it.
Pretty much. But my question panel would be, okay, if not EA, if Disney were to give this to another big publisher, who would you want to see take over Star Wars?
For an open world?
for anything, whether it be shooter, open world, linear,
So I'd like to see Insomniac take over the Star Wars series to see what they do. I mean, they've already done Spider-Man, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of world they create with the Star Wars brand. I would also like to see Bethesda. I mean, Bethesda's all. I mean, they have their own game now. Um, like they've always wanted to create a Star Wars game. They've said Todd Howard said it numerous times how he's wanted to create a Star Wars type game or a Star Wars game. Now imagine a Star Wars game set up like the Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls series. I mean, that'd be amazing, right?
You mean RPG style? You know,
Yeah.
kind of like a KOTOR type.
Not like KOTOR, but like Skyrim, like Oblivion, like the Elder Scrolls series, open world, single player experience with the Jedi powers, everything. You can create the same experience. So I would give that to Bethesda but then again, they have their own space game now. So
I would go with Ubisoft and the team that did Division to make a Star Wars game.
Oh yeah.
Why not Obsidian? Why not Obsidian? They did a hell of a job with Quarter 2.
Well, right now they got their hands full right now.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, you know, I mean,
no, if we're just taking, you know, shots and you know, guessing, you know, just whatever wishes, yeah, Obsidian would be a good choice.
Yeah,
I think from what I've seen of CD Projekt Red, what they've done with Witcher,
man.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Ooh, that would be fantastic. I would be all over that in a sec. Like the amount of detail that they put into world. Like if you're talking about true world builders, oh come on, CD Projekt Red is right there. Or even a studio like 4A Studios. You know, if you want like a more linear approach, like what they've done with the Metro series, like phenomenal, right?
I can't wait for the next title, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be the next. It's gonna be the next big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does look very good. You and like 5 billion other people are excited for it. No, it looks fantastic.
I remember when the trailer came out, it broke the goddamn internet.
It did too. It did. I remember watching that, and my jaw, I had to like pick it off the floor. Like,
well, remember at E3 when they you know showed the trailer or whatever, and all those 5x5 codes popped up. You know what I mean for the game for what game was it?
Some great acting by Phil, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
oh god.
Oh man, yeah, well, yeah, as if he didn't know, right? It's like, what is this?
We're being hacked. Oh, what's this? We've only been practicing this for two months.
Oh, I'm totally shocked and surprised. What is this appearing on my stage that we've spent millions of dollars on?
That's great.
But
Peter in the chat is saying Bungie should, I guess, make a Star Wars game.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They have the space, you know, stuff down, so that would be good.
No, that would be fantastic. Just we all know for a fact that they're going to be busy with Destiny, but ideally,
they also got another game they're making, right? Didn't they get about 100 million to make another game that hasn't been announced yet?
They got money
from a Chinese company, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. I'm not 100% sure if it's for a new game in particular. I just know that they got funding, but I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was for a new game, but I may be wrong.
But I mean, really, anything is possible. Well, let me guys ask you this, since we're on the topic of Bungie. Do you still think they'll stick with space shooters after Destiny?
Yeah, it's your forte.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, they you know, who else would you never know what they want to create next, so I don't know.
Like, I thought that after Halo, they would have done the exact opposite. I thought they would have gone with like a fantasy kind of game, but you know, I mean, you know, you stick with what you're good at, and they have the talent, and obviously, it's paid off in a lot of ways. Destiny's huge, so I guess I'm not surprised. I'm just kind of curious what their next game would be.
Invader, let me ask you a question. Has your opinion changed on Anthem?
I like a lot of what I'm seeing. And, no, I do. Graphically, it's very impressive. I like a lot of the suits that we've seen. It's The combat
People are
looks.
gonna play that game for years, and I'm telling you right now,
Those
it's gonna
javelins
be
look
a
sweet, man.
major hit.
Well,
Everybody that's played the beta, the closed beta so far, have glowing reviews for it, and they're just super impressed. Even people that were like, when they announced it, they just think, oh, it's another Destiny clone, but they're saying, wow.
I just don't know.
There's no PvP, right? Though, as of yet, have they said they were gonna?
I'm not exactly sure.
There's no PvP with
I think it's gonna come later.
Well, yeah, that seems to be the thing to do with these types of games, to add in those features later on, like Jeremy was saying. But honestly, like, I'm still on the fence about it. Like, don't get me wrong, like, if the game's good, the game's good. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the content's there at launch, because I mean, with EA games recently, it just kind of hasn't been. I'm just kind of wondering. Honestly, I'm just keeping my eyes open to like how EA is going to screw that up. I don't want to be a pessimist. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't have any faith in EA right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, but at the same time, I think again creatively they've allowed BioWare to create the game they wanted finally.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
using
and
EA's
they've
money,
given them plenty of time
yeah,
to finish it too.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
How long has it been in development?
Since before Destiny.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. No, it's well, it does
been
look
a good 5-6 years from what I understand.
Mm-hmm. No, it does look pretty impressive. Like, graphically, it looks great. The worlds, some of the creatures that I've seen, man, oh man, like the animations look fantastic. Like, this is a true like late gen game. Like, these are the games that I've really wanted to see, and I'm excited for it. Like, I'm really curious to see how it turns out, guys. Like, again, not to be a pessimist, but it's
see. Okay to be pessimistic.
Well,
I don't think that we should just run out, even though I have a bad habit of it, just running out and pre-ordering everything that I think I want. But yeah, no, it's okay to be skeptical. We humans they want the wow factor all the time, and a lot of times we jump the gun and don't wait for it to come to us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think you're going to see a lot of Destiny players leave Destiny.
But a lot of people have already left Destiny, though. That's the thing.
And that's why they better go run into Microsoft right now before while they still can.
Because... You mean before the well dries and Microsoft said, nope, you only got 100,000 players. We're good.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be really interesting to see how games like Destiny and even the new Division 2 game coming out in March, I believe, how everything interacts with Anthem.
Yeah.
So let's see if they take any cues from each other and just see how the fan bases react, right? If one's going to another. I'm very curious to see how all this just kind of interacts and works itself out.
I know one thing, February is going to be insane.
Money.
Crackdown 3, Metro Exodus, Anthem.
I'm gonna go broke in February.
Oh, yep.
What else? I mean, March has Division
too
2,
much. And
Devil May Cry.
You guys know my birthday's in March, so feel free to give me all the latest games.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not too far away from you, buddy. That's for sure. Let's see. Moving along here. We're going to go, instead of being pessimistic, we're going to talk about the games that we've been playing recently. So what has everybody been diving into the past month? What's everybody been addicted to? The game that they can't put down? What's everybody been all up on?
For me,
South has been playing the moving game, right?
Yeah, I've been playing, I feel like Donkey Kong, jumping over the barrels.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, hey, listen, I played a little bit of what's it called? What's that game that's on Game Pass? The
Action.
No.
Strange
Brigade, Stranger Brigade. Yeah, there you go, Strange Brigade.
Oh yeah,
I really like that game, man.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's real campy. Jeremy and I played a lot.
Oh
of
yeah,
it, but it's
Megatron
real campy.
Megatron was in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I've been playing that. I just got Ace Combat, which I just installed it, so I need to jump. I you know what? I love Ace Combat. You're
gonna cry in that game.
Man, shut up. I probably will. I'm gonna have to live stream like oh, crying and shit. But yeah, no, I've always been a big fan of the Ace Combat series. You know, Mobius One. Dude, I thought you know, who wants to be you know Goose and Maverick? I want to be Mobius One.
Yeah, no, I've been really eyeing that game. It looks really impressive. I've been hearing some really funny stuff about how it runs on Xbox, but otherwise, I'm really interested in Ace Combat. I may have to pick that up actually. I didn't want to splurge on anything, but dang.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked it wasn't X enhanced. I guess they're both running is similar to the PlayStation 4. They're both 1400p or something like that, some crazy number or.
I don't know, but like I've heard some really dodgy things about it. So hopefully, if there are any issues, hopefully there's a patch involved because it's kind of disappointing hearing that now at this stage of the game. But you know what? I've been playing. Well, I've been kind of like going through games like mad right now. I right at the beginning of the year, I beat Hellblade, and man, oh man, Hellblade. Whew. It is one heck of a game. I can totally see why Microsoft picked up Ninja Theory. It's
a mind screw, that's for sure.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I knew that going into it, but like, man, oh man, like it's really cool how they kind of worked everything out. Like, you know, is what you're seeing real or is it, you know, kind of like made up? You know, it's really interesting, especially towards the end. But I was more impressed with like the character animations and the acting.
Oh my God, and the sound design is just amazing. If you have an Atmos headset or speaker system, it's insane.
And I was playing with well, I was kind of testing it out because people were telling me, "Oh, you gotta play with headphones on, just you know, for the you know, to hear the voices." Holy crap! Like it really makes a difference when you have the headphones on.
Part of the game. It's part of the experience.
Yeah, I would totally recommend it to anybody playing Hellblade. Put on those headphones. But no, they did a phenomenal job with that. Also, actually, just yesterday, I played and beat Valley, which is a very interesting indie game. I picked it up for like $3 on a recent sale, and it is totally worth it, guys. If you're into like really like different sci-fi games, like
you know what that game reminded me of?
I have no idea.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog for adults.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But no, there's a little bit more to it than that. But
no,
like,
I know. The platforming aspect of the game, and then you know how you could run. Is the speed of the game is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the narrative is very interesting and intriguing. It's a very different game, and it's done by a local studio by me too, Blue Isle. So you know, I like supporting them. They did a really good game there. The narrative is interesting, and I would totally recommend it to anybody who's interested in just, you know, a little bit of a different sci-fi experience. Definitely give it a shot. And of course, I just started playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's going to take up my life.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But like, yeah.
So I've been playing a couple of games. Well, I've been playing a series of games, but primarily been playing Fallout 76. I know you guys will laugh at that one, but
no comment.
Yeah, it's a great game. I've been enjoying it. I've been playing. I think I'm at level 30 now. Clowns knows I've been playing with Clowns a little bit here and there, but I loved Fallout 76. I think it's an amazing open world game. It doesn't get enough credit as is. I've also been playing Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. So I don't know if you guys have ever played that one before, but it's based off the card game, and it has a story element to it. It's really a narrative experience on top of the card game experience, which is really cool. I really like Thronebreaker. I think they did a great job, CD Projekt Red, with it. And the Gwent card game is going to rake in nice dollars for CD Projekt Red again. So I think I already put like $500 into their Gwent game over the course of the beta and now the final product. But yeah, I mean it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. Like what it really gets you hooked to it though? Like what's the
You know, there's puzzle. It's like a puzzle game too, because yeah, there's the whole you need to dominate your opponent by the score, by the strength, but you have to do a specific puzzle element to the game too. So, like for example, you'll be going down the path and there'll be a rock slide, and then it cuts off into the card game, and you have to dodge the rocks. I know it sounds funny with the cards, and destroy the rocks in the process before the rocks hit your particular camp or player. And if you don't succeed, I know it sounds boring to you guys, but then obviously you fail.
Yeah, I'm already
mission.
asleep.
You fail the mission. So it's that puzzle element too that I really enjoy, and it's like, you're not going to get it the first time. There's no way until you study the cards and you understand the way the game works. So it's interesting.
All right. I you know what? I've had it downloaded for the longest time, but I haven't checked it out because card games I'm kind of like iffy on. But
no, you'll really like this one, and the story is amazing. Great characters, great story, and there's kind of a little RPG element to it too. On top, of
yeah,
the
but
card
Jeremy, your
game.
taste is in your ass, so I don't
Yeah.
listen to recommendations of games for you.
I like everything, buddy. You know that, as long as it's good.
even
Yeah,
JRPG.
even if it's good, then you don't like it.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves still a disaster.
Oh, stop
Crackdown
it.
is going to be another
We're
disaster.
gonna have to fight, bro, because that game is
That
fun.
Sea of Thieves is awesome, man.
I think you guys should duel it out like mano a mano on the seas in Sea of Thieves. Like, I would like to see that, and like you just fire each other from like the cannons and you fight midair. Like, totally do it. I
That'd
want
be
to see
fun.
that. Oh yeah.
That's for our Patreon members. No, I'm kidding.
Shit.
Well, all right, guys. I think on that note, we have come to an end of the show. And hey, thank you everybody for who came out to listen. Like, honestly, like we really are excited to come together and bring back this show. It's a really awesome experience. And from what I can tell in the chat, the response has been really overwhelming. So again, thank you to everyone that's come out. And
Tim and Doc will be back next week, hopefully. So
Yeah, hopefully Timmy will have his connection, and Doc will be feeling better.
oh yeah.
And we
think
know,
better,
like I
Doc.
said, everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys, man. We love you all, and thank you for all the support. For everything. Much love.
Exactly. And if you haven't already, please give a like, give a good thumbing to the show. We're just starting off again, but hey, you know what? We are back, and we can't wait to get this going, and we're going to have an excellent show next week. On to the intros now. First up, the Podfather, Mr. Southbound. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Southbound110, or you can hit me up on the Xbox, and my gamer tag is South. And it's not for sale, goddammit. Stop asking me. Hey, you'd be surprised, man. I get people telling me, change your gamer tag. I'm like, what? Like, does that even work for you? Get out of here.
That's so random. But awesome. All
annoying.
right. Yeah, no, totally. All right, next up on deck, the bright side of the show, Mr. Downer. Where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me only on Twitter. It's at LoneMasterWho07. You can find me. You can also connect with me on the TXR podcast website that we have now up, or you can just send me a message in DM too. So,
Of course. And my fellow metallic badass boss, Mr. Megatron. Where can the viewers find you?
On Twitter as well, Megatron_1975, and hit me up anytime and play some games, maybe.
All right. And as everybody said, Doc should be back next show, along with Tim Dog. Can't wait to have them on, and we can have the full panel. And hey, be sure to tune in next week as we have a real treat for you guys. We have a special guest announced. The composer for Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Mr. Gareth Coker. He will be joining us, and we can't wait to talk to him. It should be a really exciting show. And as our friend Jeremy here said, definitely check out the TXR podcast website. It is txrpodcast.com. Please give it a shout. Take a look for anything related to the show. Well, guys, it was great, and we hope to see you on the next show. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.
See ya.
Thanks for joining
Later.
us.
Thanks for coming by.